Hey guys, welcome to Jonniebee 9458, advocating for mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education. You guys ready? Here we go. Sorry about that. Let's try that again.
I've been walking to a city I cannot see, through the depths of the valley where the sun can't reach. Yeah, I've been high,
I've been low.
I've been looking for the river that could fill my soul. Been walking to a city I cannot see. Yeah.
Fill my cup, Lord, and run it over.
Give it love, give it joy,
Give it peace,
fill my cup, Lord.
and run it over. I am a child in need. Lord, I need you to fill my cup. Oh,
Been walking over lies standing in my way. Let them say what they want, I don't want what they say. I was born far from home, but I've been thriving in the water of the great unknown. 'Cause I'm drinking from a well from another place. Yeah.
fill my cup, Lord, and run it over. Give it love, give it joy, give it peace. Fill my cup, Lord, run it over. I am a child in need. Lord, I need you to fill my cup.
Fill my house up with hope,
Yes, Lord.
my plans up with
Yes, Father.
fill my wounds up with healing. Lord, I need you.
Fill my cup.
Fill my days up with meaning. Fill my future with vision. Goodness, grace, and provision.
Lord, I need you to fill my cup.
To that city I cannot see.
God, my lips are dry.
I know that even this valley was a golden street. Fill my cup, Lord. Run it over, run it over.
Give it love, give it joy, give it peace. Fill my cup, Lord. Run it over. I am a child in need. Lord, I need you to fill my cup.
Fill my house up with hope. Fill my plans up with purpose. Fill my wounds up with healing. Lord, I need you.
Fill my cup.
Fill my days up with meaning. Fill my future with vision. Goodness, grace, and provision.
Yes.
Lord, I need you to fill my cup.
You guys, that was beautiful.
This is my dad, Chuck Norris. They say he doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth.
That was beautiful. So that was Andrew Rip. Fill my cup. You guys know I like to start off with a little pick-me-up music, right? Now let's see how I get myself out of here. This thing has not been doing what I've been wanting it to do lately. I don't know if YouTube changed the way they... Oh gosh, this is going to stress me out, guys. Trying to get out of this YouTube in a way that when I go back in, I go back to the main page. I've always done this before. I don't know why it's not working now. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I obsess about things. There we go. I obsess about things. I don't particularly like when I can't do something that I'm trying to do. It will stress me. And there we go. All right, guys, welcome. For those who are coming by my YouTube page for the first time, welcome. For those who keep coming back, sorry guys, my lips are dry in the corner there. For those who keep coming back, welcome. And to all in attendance, thank you so much for showing up, supporting my YouTube page, trusting me to guide you on your journey from mental health awareness to mental health wellness. I do appreciate you guys. For me, it's such an honor. It's such an honor to be able to do this, advocating for mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education. It is truly an honor. Like I said, I have lost some people that were very close to me, very dear to me, due to their mental health disease, and it took me a lot of years to get here and to open up and talk about my mental health disease. So grateful that I was able to do that, to break the silence and, be able to talk about it openly and freely and share my experiences, my education, with people looking for information regarding mental health diseases. This is like a new dream since I wrote my book. It just opened my mind to some new ideas and, wanting to serve people with whatever I have, even if it's very little. It can sure mean a whole lot to someone else. So thank you guys for being here. It is Wednesday, October 11th. And yes, it is early, guys. I had a really busy day. Getting things ready for the fall and the winter months. Saying goodbye to summer, which is my favorite season. I was born in August, the hottest month of the year. I'm a summer baby. I like it hot. I do not like cold. So today I finally took my air conditioning unit out of my bedroom window. It was so sad. It was so sad. And just like every other summer season, I feel like I haven't even worn all my summer clothes yet. But I guess, wishful thinking that one day I will have enough money to be able to take a trip to a warmer climate. And then my summer clothes will be useful then, right? So, like I said, you guys are getting this show early. It is 4:22 in the afternoon. I had a busy morning, like I said, preparing my house for the coming colder seasons. Besides taking out the AC unit, cleaning it up, washing it down, draining the water from the AC unit and packing it away. I also went through some of my drawers and cleaned out my drawers, all those receipts that you stick in the drawer for references in case you need them within the coming weeks, and keeping track of the finances, what are you spending, where you're spending it at. So yeah, the drawers, the junk drawers, right? They tend to fill up, and every now and then I like to clean them out and empty them out and get ready for the new seasons to come. With the colder seasons, we have Thanksgiving coming, we have Christmas coming, and I know we hate to think about it, but where are we? October, November, December. 2 months till Christmas, right? So, just cleaning out the junk drawers, like I said, of all the receipts I've accumulated over the summer months, making room for the new receipts to come, you know, those Christmas shopping lists and receipts. I don't know, just staying very busy today. I was really busy today and I'm kind of tired now. So I wanted to, you know, do the show now so that I can post it and then probably go take me a nap and then just enjoy the rest of my evening. I know if I didn't do the show first and decided to take a nap first, the show would be posted really late. So trying to make you know, better choices, you know, do the show now, get it up, let people know that I am here today, showing up, being accountable, and available to people who may need to see a familiar face, another person with a mental health condition, you know, just being available for people, right? So yeah, where we left off at, you guys, we were talking about coping skills yesterday, and I think I shared an example or gave you guys an illustration of my own personal experience and how I used coping skills as far as that situation where I went to Memorial Hospital in the middle of a mental health crisis, and they left me sitting there for an hour. But I want to get more in tune with coping skills because I think that's very important. And like I said, although I've been sharing my experiences with my journey of mental health awareness to mental health wellness, sharing my experiences and how I maintain my mental health, I need to be very more specific with coping skills so that you guys have the information and not just assuming that's what I'm talking about. I want to make sure everything is very clear for people for when you need it, okay? So we're going to go over a list of coping skills. That's not going to take up too much time. And then we're going to move on to something else that I wanted to go over with you guys. And not dealing with a mental health diagnosis when you have little children. So we're going to talk about that stuff today, okay? Going back to coping skills, I think I also did put some information up on my YouTube page. When you guys come in, you know, the little short films, they're right above the session. So you have the short films, and the short films is like me posting pictures of family members, so that you guys can get to know the people connected to me. As far as like if you guys purchase my first published book, God's Gift to You, you can kind of like get an image of the faces of the people that I talk about in my book, okay? And it's just to give you guys a clearer picture of, you know, when I talk about mental health diseases, causes, effects, you know, as I stated, some mental health diseases can be inherited. Like if you have a close blood relative, such as a parent or sibling who has a mental health disease, chances are you have one too. I mean, it's not always guaranteed, but the chances are very strong. Like I said, mom said that her mom went crazy and died in a mental institution. I have seen some things in my mom that sends up red flags for me as far as mom possibly having a mental health disease aspect. Definitely my sister, like I said in the beginning, she was diagnosed with bipolar that got upgraded to, so she was first diagnosed with depression. It got upgraded to manic depression, which got upgraded to just manic. And then in her final days before she left this earth, it was upgraded to bipolar. And then I myself have been diagnosed with depression. Okay. There are many factors involving my diagnosis of depression, which we talked about, in my adolescent years, even before then, like taking blows to my head before my brain was fully developed. I sustained some injuries to my head. So that's the physical aspect of the mental health disease. And then, of course, the generational disease, and then the childhood trauma, and then the environmental factors. So, yeah, there's a lot going on with me and my family, right? So that's just information, some key factors when you feel as though you might be having some signs and symptoms of a mental health disease, and trying to understand it better, as far as, whether or not it's passed down through the family, whether or not there are some physical elements to your mental health disease. And then there's the medical stuff. We talked about the neurotransmitters, the chemicals in your brain being off balance, right? So there's a whole lot when considering a mental health disease aspect. Of course, you guys would absolutely have to go and, talk to your providers and get evaluated. If you are showing any signs or symptoms of a mental health disease. We talked about the signs and the symptoms. If these signs and symptoms are if the signs and symptoms are really related to a mental health disease, because we talked about other factors, right? If we're having signs and symptoms, those signs and symptoms can be tied to another factor. If you have like the disease of addiction, you would have to first get treated for that, and go to a program, get the help and services available to you to help you address the active addiction factor. Once that is cleared and you've been doing good for some time, but you still are having some signs and symptoms, then we could then take a look at it being tied to the mental health disease aspect, okay? And again, the only way you're going to know is if you're going to know for sure, is to see your providers, okay? The signs and symptoms, right? If it's something that happens just like once in a while, or, you're able to maintain your life, right? Then it may not be a mental health disease. I'm talking about signs and symptoms that may start out in the beginning. You may have episodes from time to time, and then eventually those episodes become more frequent. The symptoms could range from being mild to intense, and you will know the difference. Again, I'm just slowing my brain down, guys, and I am tired. So also, if these signs and symptoms are interfering with your quality of life, if those signs and symptoms are disrupting your day-to-day activities, if the signs and symptoms are causing harm to not yourself but your loved ones around you, there's a lot of factors and things that we need to pay attention to. And we kind of want to get in there and catch it early, because the sooner we start identifying, acknowledge, identifying and acknowledging the signs and symptoms and how they are affecting the quality of your life day to day, right? You want to get in there to them doctors so you can start addressing it. It is going to, by not addressing it, right, the symptoms do not go away. By not addressing it, the disease is not going to go away. By not addressing it, right, your life can go from being like a little bit difficult to extremely difficult. Okay? So you will know. And I don't know why, but I think someone has access to my stupid camera, because this is a pre-recorded show and I am getting thumbs up. I am getting balloons. I think someone maybe tapped into my camera. And I mean, if it is a good thing, I'm fine with it. But I'm going to tell you now, if it's not a good thing, right? I may sit here and look normal and look sane and all that, okay? But don't get this pretty face twisted. I do have family members. I have 2 grown brothers. We're all from Boston. We don't play. I have other family members and friends who come to my house. And I hate to say this, but I do know how to protect myself by myself. So I don't know what this tapping into my camera is about. And I will normally ignore it because it doesn't scare me. It's just that I am aware and I am paying attention and I got good sense. So with that being said, if it is illegal for you to be tapping into my camera, I also know how to fight legally, okay? Again, mental health disease is not a weakness for me. I am going to continue on with my show for the people who really need to have this information. And that is your first and only warning. Moving on. So, like I said, we are going to get into coping skills, guys. Coping skills, stress management, meditation, problem solving. That is really pretty. I like that. Thank you. Problem solving, deep breathing. I know that I made this clear to you guys before, right? About exercising. It boosts the endorphins. You're doing something constructive and good for you that's not harmful to you. You're burning off the anger. You know, if you're walking, right? Whether you're pace walking or fast walking, you may jog, you may run. It depends on your health. It depends on your strength. But all these things are good coping skills, guys. I told you guys that I used to run, but I freaking tore a ligament in my knee, right? So I had to stop running because my doctors told me that if I continued to run, that I would end up needing a knee replacement. And we're not doing that. I've never had any major surgeries on myself, and yeah, we're not doing that. So I do fast-paced walk. I do yoga. I love yoga. Stretching, um, opening up the airways, opening up the lungs, getting that the air, right? When we breathe air, right? And doing yoga, the breathing, the air in goes all the way deep down inside into, tissues and organs that don't normally get air just from us breathing. Um, Yoga, what I have you guys doing now, your assignment, writing, right? That's um a coping skill. I was gonna say coping mechanism, but I get tongue tied. So yeah, writing, keeping a journal, scribbling, doodling, draw a picture. I myself like to color. I color sometimes with my grandson. Paint, be with other people, friends, loved ones, um, watch a movie, your favorite show, listen to music. Again, be careful with your selection of music. If you are coming out of a bad breakup, you do not want to listen all day, every day to that sad love song music about breakups, or the angry music about breakups. You want to choose your music wisely, okay? It needs to be uplifting, it needs to be comforting, um, and it needs to be positive, okay? Um, Again, I put up a whole list of coping skills on my YouTube page, okay, in case you guys need them. Also, just want to touch bases with you guys. I hope everybody is in good spirit today. Um, it was a beautiful day outside. I hope that you got to get out, even if you just went for a walk around your neighborhood. Um, Being out in the sun can do wonders for your spirit as well. The sun has like vitamin D, and just the light um from the sun. It's like it's good for your body, it's good for your mind, guys. And it's not too hot, it's not too cold. Like, this is the time to get out and go for those walks, visit a park, a local park that you like to go to. I know that every city in Rhode Island has a nice park in the neighborhood. We have a lot of parks here. We have beaches, we have what do you call those, trail, like they have these trail paths, I don't know what you call them, guys. You guys get the drift of it, right? Sometimes we can be stuck, right? We can be stuck. We don't really want to go out and be seen, and you don't really want to be around your loved ones. You may be losing interest in things. And again, I've said this before, another coping mechanism, right? If you're in that really deep, sad space, right? And it's okay. It's okay to sit with your feelings. It's okay to process your feelings, to feel your feelings. If you have to, like, grab a pillow and hold on to the pillow and cry it out, like, it's okay to do that. And there is no time frame as to the time it will take you to process whatever feeling or emotion that you're having right now. Everybody is different. Cry it out. Take if if it takes a day or two or three, and that's fine. Just don't stay there too long, okay? You want to embrace whatever feelings you're having, but you just don't want to stay there too long, okay? You have to get back up. You have to, get going, even in that time when you're in that dark space and you just want to be alone and hold that pillow and cry. Put some soft music on. Some soft, positive, It can even be instrumental music. I don't know if people like jazz or instrumental music, or it can even be they have this other type of music where it's like waterfalls or the wind blowing, like whatever works for you, okay? That's going to help you be able to sit there and cry it out for as long as you need to cry it out. But with the music playing, eventually you're going to be like, okay, I'm done crying, and I'm ready to get up, okay? If you are having any harmful thoughts, play that tape out. If I do this, again, sometimes we may feel like we want to die, but trust me, feelings are not facts. They're just emotions. So even though you might feel like you want to die, trust me, you really don't. Been there, did that. And like I said, some people, right, who acted out on those harmful thoughts, right, they didn't have another chance. They didn't get back up. So please, please, please play that tape out all the way through when you're having them harmful thoughts. And if you have to, call 911. Call 911. You are so worth it. I know you've heard this many times. This too will pass. Just know that you're not alone. I know it might feel like you are, but you are not. You are tied to some people who love you, whether it's your parents, siblings, children, cousins, friends. You may not tell these people what you're going through in the moment, but trust me, they love and they care about you, and it's going to affect them if you do anything to harm yourself, okay? So please don't do that. So again, you guys, if you need any information from me directly, if you just want to touch bases with someone, please, please, please leave me comments. I will respond to my comments, okay? I'm not going to sit here and pre-record a show and not reach out to someone who's reaching out to me, okay? So today's lesson, I wanted to, like I said, talk about, I have put a bookmark into where I wanted to go as far as the coping skills, and then lost where I really wanted to go today as far as mental health diseases with children, okay? That's where I want to go today. And I did write the date at the top, so give me 1 second, guys. I actually brought a new notebook, guys, because this notebook, I'm almost done with it, and this journey was new to me, and I was like learning as I go. So I started like keeping notes and with the dates and the topic and the name of the artist and the selection of music that I play. Like I started writing the date and then the artist's name and the title of the song, and then I would give myself like a chapter headline of what I was going to do the session on, and then put my notes. But because I just started, it's like I was like jumping around, everything is like all jumbled around, just like my brain. I'm trying to do better with taking dates, writing the titles, better with what's the word I want to use, guys? Better with my organizational skills surrounding my sessions. So because this book is almost done, I think I'm close to where I want it to be. Because this notebook is almost done, I did go out and purchase a new one that's going to be just for my sessions, because I think this one that I was using, there's like other stuff in here. I had started using it for other stuff, but because there was so many pages left, I didn't want it to go to waste, so I just started doing my sessions in that particular notebook. But when I start my new notebook, it will be just for these sessions. So hopefully I will be more organized than what I appear to be, right? I think I'm close to where I want it to go. I am. Okay, here we go. So I want to talk to you guys about dealing with the mental health diagnosis with small children, okay? I'm woosahing. I'm slowing the brain down. I am asking for guidance from my higher power, that I speak clearly, that my thoughts are not so mixed up, so that I can speak on this topic and be clear with my information and go in a certain direction and stay on that path without jumping all over the place like I do. I think this topic is very, very important, and I think I need to touch bases on this, okay, guys? So, this is for people who have small children in the home, and you might be new to your mental health disease aspect. You may have just started having signs and symptoms. And I know that from experience, for me, my signs and symptoms started appearing in my mid-20s. My daughter was probably like 3, 4, 5, you know, somewhere around that age. Maybe like 5, 6, the latest. Yeah, she was like around 4, 5, 6. When I started having my first signs and symptoms, again with the crying spells, the explosions of emotions towards definitely not my daughter, but definitely my mate that I was with. I was with someone for 18 years. When those signs and symptoms started appearing, and again, like the crying spell, once that started, it did not stop. It did not take any breaks. Like I said, there was a time when I couldn't even watch a TV commercial without bawling my eyes out. The outburst of emotions on my partner at the time, like the first time it happened, I didn't really pay attention. I didn't really connect it to anything. It was like it happened and then we moved on. Those outbursts of emotions became more frequent to the point that I was able to identify like there was something going on with me. Again, I would feel bad afterwards. I'm slowing my brain down, okay? When they started becoming more frequent, it got to a point that inside, I would feel it coming. I could feel it. I just knew it was going to happen. And I tried to hold it, like tell myself to try to like hold it in, try to control it. Like, oh no, don't let this happen again. There were times when I would try to avoid my mate because I didn't want it to happen, right? But there were times when he didn't realized that I was trying to avoid him, you know, just like separate myself from him so that I wouldn't have this explosion on him. And he would always be like trying to get in close to me. And when he did, and it would happen, I would feel awful. And then it was like being hard on myself, like telling myself, like, why do I keep doing this to this person? Like I said, the relationship wasn't that great, but it wasn't that bad. It definitely was not physically abusive, mentally abusive. We were young, we were in love. He was a good person. So for me to like have these emotional outbursts of rage on him, right? And then have to see like how my action would hurt him or injure him, or, you know, watching him be confused about why is this happening. And then having to deal with my emotions behind that, like feeling like angry with myself that I kept doing this and I didn't know why, trying to control it and I wasn't able to, crying because I knew that I hurt someone I really cared about, being afraid because I didn't know why this was happening to me. Yeah, and you know, like I said, you guys are gonna know if it's anything other than a mental health disease, because it's gonna get so unbearable and make your life so difficult that you're not gonna have a choice but to stop paying attention and, you know, identifying, acknowledging, and then going to get some help. I know for me, I just didn't want to stay like that. Like, I didn't want to stay like that. Like I said, there were times in the morning, you know, I'd get up in the morning, I'd shower, I'd get dressed, you know, I'm getting ready to go to work, right? And then there was like this overwhelming emotion of fear. Like just the thought of having to walk out of my door and go out into the public, right? Like people, I don't know, it was like weird. Like I didn't want people to see me. Yeah, I would start having shortness of breath, sweating. It was awful. It was awful. Like this is a thing that I do every day. You know, every day I get up, I get showered, I get dressed, I go to work. But it came a time when all of a sudden, just the thought of walking out the door, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. It terrified me. I mean, it's not like I was in any danger or any immediate harm. And I was loved in my community. I was known in my community. I had friends, like 2 best friends in my community, right? So I don't know why all of a sudden the thought of walking out the door to my house paralyzed me. So yeah, when I say that, it will come to a point where you won't be able to ignore it, right? You won't be able to ignore it. So anyway, moving on to dealing with the mental health diagnosis with children. So again, you know, my daughter, right? As much as we try to hide ourselves, like that part of ourselves from our children, because of that internal bond that these babies have with the parent who feeds them, bathes them, dresses them, takes care of them when they're sick, you know, that internal bond, like as much as we try to hide some things from our babies, they know. They pick up on that stuff, right? I tried so hard to hide that part of me from my daughter, right? You guys, if I start crying, right? It's not because I'm sad. I just broke my nail. I'm so sad now. I just broke my nail. It's not that I'm sad, it's just so emotional. And even though things are much better now, I can even feel the shortness of breath coming. Like when I talk about how my mental health disease affected my daughter. Okay? She was never in any harm's way. We lived in a community where, like I said, I was in a relationship with someone that I ended up being with for 18 years, right? And his family lived like right around the corner from where I lived in Boston, and we were very close to his family, his mom, his dad, his brothers, his sisters, his friends. Like, we were all close. My dad lived this way, within walking distance from my house. My mom also lived this way, within walking distance from my house. I had a best friend who lived like right down the street from me. So, like I said, I had a lot of support. I had a lot of love in my community as well as my daughter. So she was never in any type of physically harm way, or any emotionally harm way. But I know that seeing her mom closed off at times, I know that surely she had seen maybe like my eyes swollen from crying at times. I know that she may have heard me screaming at my mate at the time when I would have those. I am going to cry. I'm just so grateful. So grateful. Give me a minute, because I don't want to do this right now. I know that she heard me like screaming at my mate at the time. Like, it was bad. I want to say in a way that children don't understand. And I know, like, we try so hard to protect our children. You guys, I forgot I had coffee. Now it got cold again, so I can't drink it. Crap. I think that's my second cup, too. I never finished drinking it because I was so busy doing stuff around the house. As much as we want so badly to protect our children, right? She at the time was like 4, 5, 6 years old, and she was very touchy-feely, huggy type of toddler, always in mommy's face, always on top of me, always hugging me. And it's funny that, even though that for children that might be a natural thing for children to just be, she was very clingy, guys. She was clingy. I don't think that was normal. I know that children have this normal thing for intimacy and hugs and kisses. My daughter was clingy. And now that I think about it, right, I think it was her way of being worried about her mom. Like, knowing something was wrong with her mom. And maybe just trying to, like, reassure me, or just give me the extra love, or give me the extra attention. And where I was going with that, right? Children are so smart. We don't give them enough credit. We be trying to, like, hide things from them, protect them. We don't give children enough credit. They're so smart. So my point in saying that, right, is like sometimes, you don't want to do it all the time because you want to raise an emotionally healthy, balanced child, right? But at the same time, don't be so hard on yourselves. when trying to protect your children and hide things from them, right? Um, Sometimes, like, if you have to, right, hold your child. When you're going through something, right? I know that my daughter was one of my greatest strengths, right? Because I had to, like, fight for her life, right? No matter what was going on with me, right? I would look at that little small face and I knew that she needed her mom, no matter what I was going through, right? So children can be a great source of strength, a reminder, like, no matter what you're going through, you have to pull yourself together for those little ones, right? So don't be so embarrassed. I know that I sometimes was embarrassed. I would look at my child and be embarrassed because in a way, like this little kid, right? I just felt like she knew. I just felt I would look at her, and I don't know if it was my mind playing tricks on me, but yeah, sometimes I would think that even though I would hide things from her, that somehow she knew. Of course, at 4, 5, 6 years old, they don't have the words to articulate, right? Anyway, guys, as my daughter and I continue to grow, right? So now we are beyond her toddler years of like 4, 5, 6, okay? Now we are in her adolescent years, like 10, 11, 12, right? And I got to tell you, that was around the time that my sister lost her battle with her mental health disease, right? So not only did my adolescent daughter had to process her own feelings and her own emotions behind losing her aunt, she was very close to my sister. Very close to my sister. So not only did my young adolescent daughter had to process her own feelings and her own emotions behind losing my sister, but she also had to watch her mother mourn the loss of her sister, right? And I had to slow down in saying that because that's still to this day a really hard pill for me to swallow. And I think it's because for a lot of years I wouldn't talk about it. I avoided the conversations. I stuffed some stuff down. When my sister lost her battle in 2003, I became very harmful to myself. There was a period of time that was very harmful to myself. And my daughter had to watch all of this, okay? Not just that, but I knew what it was like for me to watch my parents mourn the loss of their firstborn, right? I had to watch my parents put their firstborn in the ground, right? As if that wasn't devastating enough, but also watching my 2 siblings beneath me, my 2 brothers. One of my brothers at the time had a son who also was very close to my sister. my sister's 4 children that she left behind, you know, having to be there for my sister's children during that time, my parents, my brothers. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I want to say it took a year or two before I started being harmful to myself. And the harmful to myself part of my life went on for 2 years. And after the 2 years, when I started to get help again and to get better again, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. And my young adolescent daughter, she had to see me go through all of this stuff, right? So, you know, even though it was very stressful for my young adolescent daughter, right? She still did very well as far as at the time of my sister's passing, she did have a moment in school that she went through something that was not good, and I understood it. I mean, I still punished her. I still disciplined her, right? But I understood why. You know, I understood why she was acting out. She was going through a lot. Her family was going through a lot. So we got through that. And we just kept going, right? And I'm sharing this with you guys to let you guys know, like, you know, when you have a mental health disease, if you're battling the disease of addiction, these things will pass. They will pass. And if you really want to get better, you will get better. Like I told you guys yesterday, right? Matter of fact, I think I told you guys yesterday how I ended up going to counseling and I told on myself, right? That was what I was talking about when my sister passed away. It took a year or two later before I started being harmful to myself. And I spent 2 years of being harmful to myself. And then I knew that I was in trouble. And I went to a counselor and I told on myself. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. You know, I didn't want to stay sick. I tried to do it on my own and realized I could not. I didn't want to risk staying down that journey of harming myself because I don't know where it would have led to. Like, including, but not limited to, losing my daughter. So it was a must for me. It was a must. I didn't want to stay sick. I wanted to get better. I knew I couldn't do it by myself. And I definitely did not want to lose my child. So I did what I had to do. And again, my daughter and I got through that. We got through it, you know. As much as we want to protect our children and put them in like this plastic bubble where nothing affects them, nothing touches them, I don't think that's reality. I don't think you can do that. I don't know. Maybe some other families can who may not have like mental health disease aspect running through their family, who may not have the disease of addiction aspect running through their families. I'm talking about generations of this stuff, guys. So maybe families who don't have those aspects, maybe they're their way of, like, protecting their children is different from people like me. So as much as we, like I said, want to put our children in this bubble where nothing touches them, right? Because we don't want to cause them harm. We don't want to cause them confusion. We don't want to cause them pain. I don't think it's possible. And I think, like, with me and my daughter, right? I'm not talking about when she was like 4, 5, 6. I'm talking about when she was like 9, 10, 11, 12. I had to have conversations with her. Because I'm going to tell you this. If your children see you going through stuff, right? And you don't have conversations with them children so that they can understand what they're seeing and they can have the words to articulate their feelings behind it, right? They're going to be going on just based on what they see. So it's important to have them conversations with them babies, them young adolescents. You have to have that form of communication. You have to educate them. Some experiences we're not going to be able to keep from our children. But as long as you are communicating with them, you're talking to them, you're walking them through some stuff, you're giving them the words to the actions that they see so that they can articulate it for themselves. Yeah. Me and my daughter always talk. I've never kept secrets from her. Well, that's a lie. I did keep secrets from her when she was, but when she got of age, there was some things that her mother needed to sit down and have a talk with her about to help her understand not just my journey, but mind you, my daughter had to watch my sister go through her journey. My daughter had to watch the relationship between me and my mother. So I had to have conversations with her. So again, if your children see you in the middle of a mental health crisis, right? As long as you, when those children reach a certain age, right, that you start having some open conversations with them when they're old enough to really understand. Because whether you talk about it or not, the images that they see in their younger years, whether you talk to them or not, it's always going to stay with them. You can't unsee what you've already seen. And if you don't explain it to them and you don't have them conversations with them, somebody else will. And it may not be what you want them to hear. Very important to have them conversations with them young children, okay? We want to prepare them to be able to walk the path of their life, right? And equipped with the tools necessary to be able to make these good choices, right? You can only make good choices based on the information that you have, the tools, right? You don't want to, you can't spend your life making the choices for your children. You want to give them the tools they need, and equip them with the things they need to be able to make the better choices, right? Because if you make the choice for them all the time, there's going to come a time when you're not going to be there, and those children need to know how to make them better choices on their own. So you need to prepare them for that. So again, it is okay if your children see you in the middle of a mental health crisis, right? As long as somewhere along the way you sit them down and have an open heart conversation with them, okay? Explain it to them in words so that they can better understand and articulate. And I'm gonna tell you, my daughter and I has had some really tough conversations where I had to sit there and listen to how it made her feel. Very important to listen to your children. They want to be heard. And they have every right to talk about whatever they need to talk about. And they should be able to talk about it with you. Because if not, they're going to talk about it with the wrong person who's going to take that information and use it against them. So eventually, like I said, my daughter and I, as she continued to grow, when she became an adult and started having conversations with me about how she felt about certain things that happened along the way, right? I had to apologize to my daughter. There's a lot of things I had to apologize to my daughter for. And again, have those conversations with her. Honest, truthful, open. Sometimes my daughter tells me stuff, right? And I cry listening to what she has to tell me because it hurts. Do I want her to ever stop talking about it though? Absolutely not. And I let her know that. She says, Mommy, that's why I don't want to tell you stuff because you're going to cry. And I told her, I don't care if I cry. I cry because it hurts. But please, don't ever stop talking to your mother about these things. I want to hear what you have to say. It helps her. It helps to depressurize. It helps her to feel safe in knowing that she can come to me and talk to me about anything. It helps me to correct any actions that I need to correct as far as respecting her as an adult and reassuring her that even though things were very difficult for me, I never stopped loving her. She needs to know those things. My daughter and I have a very healthy relationship. Very healthy. It even got to the point where I had to say to my daughter, you know, if you feel like you need to get some counseling about some of the stuff that you talked to me about, I think it's a good idea. And if you need me to go with you, I will. I absolutely would. And I'm going to tell you, when my daughter was like around 4 or 5 years old, right? When I started having these signs and symptoms, I not only went to counseling during that time, right? But I took my daughter to counseling too. So I had my own counseling session. While I was having my counseling session, she was in with the therapist, having her one-on-one time with a therapist for herself. And then after we both met with the therapist, they would bring us in the room together and then they would counsel us together. They would teach me like skills on how to better communicate with my daughter in a way that a 4 or 5 year old was able to communicate. They have stuff for parents that are going through stuff with their children. I went to counseling. While I was in counseling, my daughter was in counseling, and then at the end, they brought us in together and counseled us together how to make that connection, how to, you know, communicate with her better as a 4 or 5 year old. I had to learn how to communicate with my little person. Yes. These are the services that are available to you. Um, and of course, my higher power done jumped in there. I didn't even have to look at the script. It just poured out of me. It's amazing. So anyway, I'm going to tell you guys something personally about myself. So, because of my mental health disease, right? And seeing with my own 2 eyes how this mental health disease has infected my family, from grandmother, whom I never met, to my mother, to my sister, to myself. When learning about generational curses, right? Realizing that mental health diseases obviously run in my family, I made a decision not to have any more children. I have one child. Would I have liked to have had more children? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Just at my daughter's birth, I went natural. I wouldn't recommend anybody do that. But I tell you what, it's a good form of birth control. You go natural and have a kid. You might think twice before you do it again. But as time went on, right? I wasn't sure that I could trust myself to be responsible for another little person's life. And you know, who's to say, right? Maybe I would have been successful, maybe not, but I didn't want to take that chance. Raising my daughter by myself with a mental health disease was hard. It was hard. And only through the grace of my higher power, I was able to do it somewhat successfully, right? She is an adult now. She's very well grounded, very smart, very disciplined. She made very good choices as far as her life and where she started and where she wanted to go and where she's at now. I don't know if having other children would have changed her path, being that she is an only child, right? She didn't have the influence inside the home of other children. I don't know if by having other children, not only would it may have changed her journey and her path, but I often wonder, like, what those other children would have been like, right? Like, my daughter was a good girl through her whole life. I'm not saying she was perfect, but she was pretty good, right? And every child is different, right? Some are more challenging than others. They all have, like, their own different minds and thoughts and ideas. And it's a lot when you have more than one child. Trying to raise more than one child financially, emotionally, spiritually, financially. I don't know if I would have been able to do that. And the fact that I raised my daughter as a single parent, right? I didn't want to have another child by another man, especially if I wasn't married to him. I didn't want to have a bunch of children by different men. And then the thought of having a single parent, all those children by myself, we wasn't doing that. I've seen it. My mom, my sister. Yeah, we wasn't doing that. I wanted to give my daughter's life the best possible chance ever. And I believe that if I had more children, I maybe would have been making it more difficult for my daughter, for her journey. I just didn't want to do it. The guy that I dated for 18 years, he didn't have any children of his own. And he still don't to this day. He took to my daughter. My daughter was still in diapers when we got together. He took to her. She took to him. His family took to me and her. He never wanted children. The only time he wanted children was when my sister passed away. I guess he felt like by seeing me in so much pain that if he gave me a child, it would lessen the pain of losing my sister. And I didn't think that was a good reason to have a child. I was like, no, thank you. Like, I wanted to feel the pain of losing my sister. I didn't want anything taken me away from that process. And being that I was so depressed at the time, I didn't want to bring a newborn baby into the world in the middle of a depressed state. Like, what kind of life would that have been for that newborn child? And thank God I didn't, because 2 years later, I ended up doing harmful things to myself. And then after that, after spending 18 years with this one person, never having children, right? When I did end the 18-year relationship, I didn't meet anyone who I felt like would be a good idea to have a baby by. Like, yeah, we're not doing that. And now I done already went through menopause, so it's like, oh well. But I'm going to tell you what my higher power did for me, right? He gave me a grandson! Yes! He gave me a grandson. And my grandson is such a grandma's baby. That boy don't play when it comes to his grandma. So for that, I am grateful. Just when I thought I couldn't have any more children, right? My daughter gave me a grandbaby. So my point in sharing all this with you guys is to just give you a better perspective on your life, to give you hope, to inspire you. You never know what life is going to bring you. And that concludes today's show. Again, on my YouTube page, through the shorts, like where I put the pictures of family members and things like that. There is coping methods. There are signs and symptoms information. There's information regarding different diagnoses as far as mental health diseases. There's information regarding causes and effects, signs and symptoms. There are 1-800 hotline numbers. Again, if you are having any signs or symptoms that go beyond what may appear normal, sorry guys, my brain is going too fast again. If you are having harmful thoughts, if you are having signs and symptoms that interfere with your normal daily activities, possibly interfering with the things that you need to get done in life, like these are all things that you need to go see your primary care physicians about. These are all things that you need to start having conversations with your primary care physicians about. Please do not afraid to be open and honest with those providers. They're really there to help you. They're not trying to hurt you or separate you from your children. They really want to help you guys. A tip, right? For when you go and see your providers, right? If you are going through your day and things are happening, right? You want to get you a notebook or a notepad, like some paper and a pen, and just write things down as you go through your day. If you experience something, you're seeing something, write down some questions that you may have for your doctor. So when you go and see those doctors, like sometimes when we get in the doctors, right, we kind of forget, we get nervous, we get scared, we get tongue-tied, we're not sure what to say. But by writing that stuff down before you get to your provider, you know, it's going to equip you. You're going to have a piece of paper. You're going to have your questions laid out that you want to ask the doctor. You're going to have your illustrations through the day when these signs and symptoms happen so that you can articulate it to your provider. We just want to make sure that we're having the right conversations with the provider so they know exactly what it is that you need, okay? If you need help in coming up with questions that you know you want to bring with you when you go see your provider, please leave me a comment and I can help you with that process. If you need information about health insurance, whether you have health insurance or not, what your insurance covers, what it doesn't cover, what the co-pays might be, leave me comments, okay? I can get back to you and I can help you with that stuff. I hope you guys are well. I hope you're in good spirits. If you happen to visit my page and you feel as though this information can be helpful to other family members, friends, share. If you feel as though this information is helpful to you, hit subscribe, help me get my numbers up. I really feel like there's a growing need in our community for advocates of mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education. Like I said, I am not a doctor, I am not a provider, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a therapist, and I'm not a psychiatrist. I am simply someone with a mental health disease who is in treatment, who has been on meds for probably 3 or 4 decades now. I laugh, but it's not funny, but it is what it is, right? Who have a lot of information and knowledge in regards to different mental health disease diagnosis, cause and symptoms, anything that is related to mental health diseases. If you find this information helpful to you, please hit subscribe. Let's get those numbers up. Just trying to build a platform on social media for people with mental health diseases to go to get some education about it, to get some tips about it, to be here to support people through their journey in a safe environment from the comfort of your home or sitting in your car. If you're out and about in the community and you have a phone, you can jump on the phone, go to YouTube, Jonniebee 9458, and get some tips on how to manage the signs and symptoms, coping skills, like anything related to mental health disease. I'm your girl. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm about to go eat, probably take me a nap. Probably, I know I got some messages and comments. I have another social media platform on Facebook, Jonniebee Hopkins author. And I do get comments. I do get people like reaching out to me. I'm so grateful to be of service. Yes. Trying to get my people well. I hope I see you guys again tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.